constant sorrow. I've seen troubles on the way. I will not bid farewell to you, to the place where it is really insane. Oh, yes, YouTube is really insane. Hello, everybody. KJ here. How's everybody doing this evening tonight? The men's basketball Tennessee team there is going to be taking on Missouri. And I'm going to be standing in front of that damn flat screen. I'm going to be cheering my guys on. They beat Florida on Saturday. Oh, my God, 20 points. But anyway, let's just tone it down a little bit. Can I do that? I don't think I can, but I'll try. How's everybody doing? Chris Arnett, Beach Lady, Gloria Fritz, Sis, you should have been a detective. Oh, Tina Reddington, Tom Vaughn, Kathy Mama Bear, all of y'all, Gloria Fritz, all of y'all. How y'all doing? Wonder what I'm doing here. You think maybe that after a day of many of you following whatever court case you're going to be following, that old KJ might want to bring something to kind of vent it all out. You know, just kind of air out the shit, right? I mean, just let it out. Just, you know, you've taken in so much of that, and I have, and everyone else. So I'm here to talk to y'all today about something that, you know, really, now I want you to listen to me. This content is going to be KJ's way of kind of letting it all go. I'm going to let it all go, y'all. You ready? You ready? I'm telling you, you better be ready. How about Lori Hussey Daybell's defendant's objections to Court TV's media request for trial? Did any of y'all catch old KJ the other night saying that I was the media? What I meant by that is in that moment that you were listening to what I had to say, I'd had a few glasses of wine. The bottom line is in that moment, I was the media that you were listening to. And here we have this hooker who wants to talk about, well, I don't want court TV. I don't want them to have anything to do with my trial, but she wants to bring up this shit. She wants to bring up all this stuff about her husband, Chad Daybell, and his attorney wanted the cameras in there. So she ain't taking her husband's advice or anything like that. And I guess really the question is she talking to him on the phone there? Is Chad sitting on death row right now taking a call from that hooker? Is he like getting off the phone and going back to his cell and standing in the corner, you know, with his back in the corner there so nobody can see what he's doing? You know what I'm talking about, don't you? But I'm going to talk about it. Tom Baum says, hello, Mr. Wayne. If you're around, you want to say hello?
Hello.
Tom, Mr. Wayne says hello. Bernadette Oriordon, hi, love to hear from you. Okay, well, good. Because I love to hear from all of y'all. But I want to go through this and, you know, just kind of get it out. You know, I'm sure many of y'all know that news that Lori Daybell does not want any live streaming or anything. And let's just go through her little short defendant's objections to Court TV's media request for trial. And then I'm going to apply it to another trial that's going on right now. And I guarantee you, not many of y'all have seen many news articles or media about it other than some of these court TVs or law and crime. If you was to click on what we're going to talk about after I discuss this hooker, I'm telling you, there was hardly any news coverage of it at all in terms of articles. So here we go, y'all. The defense objects. Now, Lori objects, y'all. She objects to Court TV's request in its entirety because of the bias the bias they have already created in the community. Well, I'll tell you what, y'all. That damn woman, if we're just talking about facts out of Idaho, we're talking about facts. We're not talking about some kind of bias. We're talking about here are the facts. She is a serial killer in Idaho. She is going to spend the rest of her days in Pocatello Women's Prison. She better get used to a lick here and a lick there. I'm telling you, this woman is freaking, she is so, I'm not even going to go there. Namely, Lori Daybell. This is her, y'all. Namely, Lori Daybell and her husband, Chad Daybell, are the commercial for Court TV. Well, how about this, y'all? Court TV has a lot of commercials, all right? Court TV's going to put her damn ugly ass, hussy hooker face on every freaking commercial to represent Court TV? I don't think so. Well, thank you, Bernadette. I apologize. I don't know. I'm a country girl. I try to get these names right. I don't know. Are we going stadium, says Biden? Well, I'll tell you. Batu, if I could get in a dang Tennessee football game, I've been to many of their games, and along with basketball, you dang Skippy, I'm going stadium. So anyway, that commercial runs constantly throughout the day and has falsely characterized, libeled, and slandered the defendants. So, y'all, this woman's watching TV. Obviously, where she's at right now, awaiting her stupid-ass trial, she's getting to see it. They got cable, y'all. They got cable in Arizona because she ain't getting it any other way. Court TV should be ashamed of its very nature and its request. How about this? That damn whore, W-H-O-R-E, you know, the one that sits on the corner and you throw nickels as she spreads her legs. She should be ashamed. But she ain't going to be ashamed. You know why she ain't going to be ashamed? Because she thinks she's a lowercase g. And it's okay to murder her children. And it's okay to murder Tammy. And it's definitely okay for her to murder Charles Vallow and attempt to murder Brandon Boudreaux. She doesn't even, the hypocrisy of that evil demon-possessed woman is stunning, y'all. And then it says, Court TV should be ashamed of its very nature and its request since it's so objective, is not, and she puts in bold, not to bring people real news or facts, but instead its objective is to entertain the public with the very true life tragedies that happen in real people's lives. Well, I'll tell you what, that woman absolutely created all of these tragedies. And who is she to say that Court TV is only trying to entertain people? Yes, there are many millions of people that get entertainment content out of it. And that's their own damn business. But there are also people out here in the world that want a little justice for the victims. And Court TV absolutely is going to run that trial. That's not, yes, Court TV might have these provocative or, salacious pics on their graphics and all of this and that, and they might have their opinions, some of their co-hosts and things of that sort, but that's their right to do. It's called media. It's called free speech. They can do whatever the hell they want to do. She has a right. She has a right to believe whatever she wants to believe, but the bottom line is that this woman, she absolutely is the real life tragedy killer that she is. That's what she is, y'all. The defense objects to Court TV being allowed by this court to participate in this judicial process. She doesn't want the cameras there, but she sure as hell. And let's just get real here. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Archie in her trial in Idaho objected to cameras and all of that, and that went the way it went. But Chad Daybell's attorney, John Pryor, said, no, we want everyone to see the process. We want to know that everything's on the level and all of that. You would think this hooker, if she's willing to murder her children for that damn asshole, that freaking little itty-bitty gherkin of a man, then she would go and follow suit with her dang king. Including their specific request to appear at trial, live stream the proceedings on the web, and distribute the live feed. Now, folks, this woman did not have a problem sitting in her chair in Idaho and bouncing up and down like she's on a corn cob with her freaking unicorn ponytail, laughing, chatting, acting like she wanted to act and all of that, thinking that the world was looking at her, that she was so beautiful. Just as I've said before, she thought every time she walked in the damn courtroom, she floated across. Everybody saw the divinity, the divinity. Give me a break. And yet she is sitting here saying no live streaming all this. Y'all, I don't know how that's going to turn out. When you've got the defense objecting to court TV, why is she including Law and Order or anyone else for that matter? How about East Idaho News? What about Justin Lum? She's only talking about court TV, so I'm assuming that court TV is the only one that has, put in this document and all of that. And if Mom says she gets free cable, I had to cancel mine because it got too expensive. I call BS on that. Oh yeah, NF Mom. But let's look at this common sense wise. This wasn't handwritten. And it talked about Pamela C. Hicks and Robert A. Abernathy, which is the Daybell team there. Robert Abernathy is the investigator, and Pamela Hicks is the stupid woman that's going to sit there and be her advisor. Okay, so at the end of it, she does say, dated on January 31st of 2025, Lori Daybell, and her jail number is G062213, 2939 West Durango Street, Phoenix, Arizona, 85009, pro per, she says. So there you go. Woo, Aliyah, go Bulls. Yeah, every time my men's basketball team plays, I got to wear my orange, y'all. I don't look good in orange, but by God, hell, this is not prison orange. And I'll tell you this right now, Lori the hussy, she looks like a pasty, ugly ass. Her face looks like it's got a flat tire from all the freaking Botox or whatever the hell she was doing. She is wearing those orange, nasty ass flip-flops. She's disgusting. And she doesn't want the media to live stream it. And we're going to find out what the judge is going to do. Besides that, I don't even know. I haven't checked, and maybe it's come out by now. But what about the state? What does the state have to say about live streaming, huh? Would the judge defer more toward, due process? We want to listen more to the defense than we do the prosecution. The judge in the case I'm watching right now in Tennessee has an orange laptop, LOL. Well, Kathy, it's very interesting that you would bring that up because everyone's watching the Megan Boswell here in Tennessee. I went over to the docket today and gave a few comments here and there in the comment section over there. Eric's doing a terrific job of bringing that to everyone. By the way, if you want to watch a good trial, Megan Boswell, I won't go into all of it. If you don't know who she is and what she's done, then by God, maybe it's not for you. But the bottom line is Eric is doing a damn good job over at the docket. He says he's going to start up again at 8:30 in the morning, Tennessee time. So you'll just have to keep an eye on that. I'll post on the community wall the live stream, the little thumbnail there for that. I hope so, Aliyah. Vols are going to win against Missouri in basketball today. I sure hope so. The SEC is loaded with teams. You never know. I mean, my God, Kentucky came in and beat us on our own home court, but then they turned around and got their ass stopped. They losing 3 games on a winning streak there. I mean, a losing streak there. Hello, Devin Lassiter. Happy Wednesday to you. He's from Devin, or I don't know if Devin's a man or a woman, so please forgive me. Hello from Tucson. Yeah, everything's going good. Everything's going good. But you know what? That whole situation with Megan Boswell, it's pretty much started in 2020. And I think I'm going to probably talk a little bit about it, but I'm not going to cover it completely. I'm always going to apply it, but tonight I want to apply this whole situation with the hooker there, not wanting media presence in the courtroom. I want to apply it to Colin Griffith. Griffith, Griffth. Have you heard of the young man who was accused of stabbing his mother in the neck? And today, the jury found him not guilty. So I want to go over that, and I'm trying to bring out a point. Y'all know how I am. And so I'm going to try to do that, but I have to kind of give you the backstory to a lot of y'all that don't even know who it is, because y'all, his whole case was really not widely publicized, which is a point that I want to bring across. Not the point, but it's one of the points that if you went and put the term Colin Griffith in the search engine, you didn't see a whole lot of updated stuff. Usually when any of us are watching a trial, if we're like, okay, I've watched today's trial of whatever it was, I'm going to see what they have to say to kind of fill in the blanks of what I heard today, and whether I agree or disagree. And if I can't watch the trial, I can always go to the news articles online and I can get updated of where they're at and all this and that. Well, you didn't see that with Colin Griffith. And I'm just curious to know, when the jury came back not guilty, did that have anything to do with it? That's up to interpretation. That's up to whatever it is. But the Florida jury found 17-year-old Colin Griffith not guilty of killing his mother 2 years after he admitted to killing his father in self-defense. Now, let that sink in to those that don't know who this is. And why does it really matter? Why am I bringing this up? Because you got the hooker here talking about she doesn't want this media influence. And y'all know I harp on it all the time. But by God, I went to college for it. It was my concentration. It's what I did my dissertation on. I want to share my thoughts on all of that. Some people get turned off big time when KJ talks about media influence. Because I am assuming, and maybe I'm wrong, that some people get turned off because they don't want to admit that they're probably taking in more media than they should. But that's really entirely up to them, huh? Right? But Colin was accused of fatally stabbing his mother, 39-year-old Catherine Griffith, in September of last year. He told 911 dispatchers that his mother fell on a knife during a very long fight between them. In 2023, Colin admitted to fatally shooting his father, 43-year-old Charles Griffith. He told investigators he acted in self-defense, and this is exactly what he did in this one. Colin was charged with first-degree murder in relation to his father's killing, but prosecutors dropped the charge because they could not disprove Colin's assertion of self-defense. And as I read that, I thought, wow, when it comes to any trial that you may listen to or whatever, these trials are supposed to be taking place for deterrence and punishments and all this and that. And if for somehow, just for sake of argument, he actually murdered his father, he got out of it. And he got out of his mother's death as well. As of today, the jury absolutely found him not guilty. The jury was told that Colin shot someone in self-defense. Now, let's just stop. This was in Oklahoma. but they did not learn the victim's name or the relation to the defendant. So a judge in Oklahoma did not want the jury to know that Colin had did this to his father. They wanted this tried basically so that there wasn't that attachment there, so that they could say that this was on the level in terms of true justice. Some of y'all might disagree with that. You know, I really myself don't have an opinion at this point. When you think about it, the bottom line is that he absolutely had PTSD. And y'all, anytime that anyone's being diagnosed with PTSD, I have my heartstrings. And I'm not saying that, well, I am. I'm going to say it. They didn't prove it with his father, and they didn't prove it with the mother. This was a jury of their peers, one in Florida, one in Oklahoma. And, you know, people can say all they want, well, he's guilty as hell. He's a freaking murderer. He's going to go out next. He's going to kill the grandmother who was there on his side through all of this. And that's fine. People deserve to have whatever opinions they want on whether someone's guilty or not. But let me just look at you when I say this. If you are truly into justice and you really want to see justice being done, you have to at least accept the jury's decision. Because if everybody was against the jury, our system of justice would be freaking chaos. Sis, you have been a detective. You should have been a detective. I had PTSD and quick reflex. I kicked the lady at Walgreens giving me a flu shot. I did not mean to. It was a reflex. Well, there you go, y'all. Someone who can talk of these things. But the verdict comes after over 11 hours, y'all, of deliberations with this Colin Griffith on whether he murdered his mother or not. And the bottom line on it is that people were saying all over the comments that there's one holdout, you know, and that when the verdict finally came in, everybody's like, oh yeah, that holdout finally decided. Because they, you know, no one thinks that there's one holdout and everyone, the other 11 people are for guilty, and that one holdout there is not going to change all their minds, right? But he was acquitted on charges of first-degree murder and kidnapping, and prosecutor Mark Levine said Colin stabbed his mother in the neck and, quote, watched her bleed out in front of him. Now, let's just stop there. That's not what the evidence provided, y'all. That the incident happened inside the house. Nobody saw it. Nobody saw that. That was his theory. But look, how about this? Try this on for size. If you had to actually see somebody murder someone, if there was actual direct evidence of murdering someone, then everyone would get out of murder, because most of these murders happen behind closed doors or in a place where there isn't a witness. So it was up to the jury to decide what did happen. What happened behind those closed doors? She left this world knowing that the person that took her out was the son that she gave everything to, Levine told jurors during his closing argument. Now, that was his side of things. How about the defense attorney, Amy Thornhill? I'll say Amy Thornhill. Said the defense wants jurors to focus on the emotion and the drama rather than on the actual facts. She also asked the jury if Catherine intended to harm herself. And there was testimony in the trial that Catherine had had a Baker's Act. She'd been in it more than once. That's where they put you in a mental hospital, where she tried to kill herself more than once. Isn't it also reasonable, she says. This is a defense attorney talking about her client here, Colin Griffith, that Kathy knew what the outcome was going to be. And she picked up a knife and threatened Colin with it. You've heard of suicide by cop? Isn't it reasonable to think that Kathy committed suicide by son? And you can't just take that in a vacuum. She'd already been proven to actually point a gun at her son, lie about it, and then she goes back, and it's proven through text messages that she lied and got Colin in trouble. Prior to the deadly incident, Colin and Catherine had allegedly gotten into an argument with Colin, where Colin went to his grandmother's house. He's not at their house going to go ahead and kill her ass. He's trying to get away from her. Catherine died after she showed up at the house with the intention of bringing Colin home. The grandmother wasn't home at the time. Griffith's defense attorney, Amy Thornhill, took over an hour in her closing argument. She said Griffith acted in self-defense, alleging his mother had a history of lying and threatening him. She stated that at one point even pulled a gun on him, and that is a fact. What mother is going to pull a gun on her son? Somebody say, oh, KJ, she was so scared of her son. He was such a diabolical guy. She had to put that gun. He threatened her, and so she put the gun. But here she is driving 2 hours to her mother's house where he's trying to get away from her. She ain't afraid of him. She ain't afraid of him. Griffith's defense attorney, Amy Thornhill, took over an hour. As I said, Griffin was found to have killed his father in Oklahoma in 2023. His attorney was able to prove self-defense due to the fact that he was treated poorly by his father. Colin Griffith was not allowed to leave the farm they lived on and was only fed 1 meal a day. It was also proven that Griffith had PTSD and other health problems. Deputies arrested Griffith at his home for domestic battery for hurting his mom in 2023, and he spent a night in jail. But on his way home, this comment worried deputies. So he spent the night in jail, and the deputies took him home. I'm trying to figure out why we would have a corporal at the jail that took you out say that what you said, which was, don't put me in the car with her. I'm going to kill her, a deputy told Griffith. He told the deputies that he wanted to be put in foster care, y'all. He didn't want to be with his mom, okay? And he says, I'm in a constant state of fight or flight. And I don't know if I think she's going to do something. Even if she's not, I might act. I'm not going to go crazy or anything, but I'm not sure. The jury was made up of one man and the rest of them were women. Griffith's grandmother and aunt were in the courtroom. Both are supportive of him. And there was text messages, y'all, from the mother before she went over there telling him that she was going to go to police about Oklahoma and get him put in jail. She said a lot of threatening things to her son. And all he was trying to do was get away from her. But she wanted to assert control over him. And that's just the way I see it. I don't believe, y'all. I honestly don't believe that this Colin Griffith murdered his mother. I don't. I believe they got into this fight. Whether she fell on the knife or not, I mean, that's what he says. You can hear him in the 911 calls trying to render aid to her. Yes, some would say, oh, he could have been faking that or whatever. Y'all, this young man was telling everyone openly. It wasn't like he was devious and was just going to do it or had it in a journal somewhere where they found out later, yeah, I want to murder my mother. He was telling the police, put me in foster care. I'd rather be in jail than with her. And people can go on and on and on about, he was just mad because she took his phone and Xbox away from him and all that. Folks, he went 2 hours away to get away from her. And he was allowed to do that. All he had to do, because he was on probation from Oklahoma. He was on probation for this other stuff, this domestic. She'd been in jail over hurting him. So it wasn't all him on her. And Beach Lady sums it up, y'all. It was reasonable doubt. It wasn't just because nobody actually saw the event happen. It's just when you add the totality of his mother, who not only in her text, it was crazy, y'all. Go back and watch it. You'll see evidence where she is threatening him. She is devious. She is being hateful to him. And yet she wants him in her life. It's like she wanted to control everything he did, and you can't do that to somebody with PTSD. And she sure as hell wasn't trying to get him help for his issues. It only had been a year since the incident with his dad that had happened. And, you know, folks, the bottom line is this. If a prosecutor in Oklahoma couldn't bring charges and they dismissed everything, you know, was it the perfect crime in Oklahoma and was it the perfect crime in Florida? Does it matter now? The jury has spoken. They found him not guilty of murder. They found him not guilty of kidnapping her. I mean, come on. She went there. My son tried to kill me on my front porch, says Sis, who should have been a detective, and could not have killed him if I had a weapon. I know this about me. I hide myself from him. He is homeless, but I cannot help him. Well, I'll tell you what, Sis. I've got a son who's homeless as well. He's my eldest son. And one time he put me in a headlock, and I couldn't breathe. And in those brief moments when I couldn't breathe, I thought I was going to die right then and there, in that moment. Okay? I listen, y'all. I've had shit happen in my life. You wouldn't believe the stuff that's happened in my life. Doesn't make me any smarter than anyone else, because there are other people out here that's got different experiences that I know nothing about, which brings me to this. Unless you've walked in those shoes, unless you've lost someone through these means and stuff, I mean, every damn time I turn on the freaking computer or my phone or whatever, and I go and I see what trials going on, you just can't believe that this shit happens, but it does. And at some point, are we going to get to where, oh, well, that happened in that trial over there? No, it's always something more evil, more diabolical. It is the hardest thing, sis. It really is. It's a terrible thing, but my point in this Colin Griffith situation is that when I first saw that on the I guess it was Law and Crime, I thought, okay, let me look at the backstory. You know, and I was all like, that boy, he kills his father, he kills his mother, they're going to slam the hammer down. And then I looked, there wasn't much at all. And if anything was listed in news articles or media, it was more geared toward, like one article was the last picture of his mother and him. They looked so happy together. It almost looked like it was looking like, the media article was attacking him. And how many times have you seen these news organizations, whether online or in this world inside of a world, social media, where they, it's one thing to bring a trial and let you decide, but they also have their opinions. And 9 times out of 10, it's always slam the hammer down on these defendants. Never in a second, I guarantee you, after all the evidence was presented in Colin Griffith's case, did anyone suspect that he would be found guilty completely of everything? And it happened today. Now, Lori the Hussy Daybell, will she get her way? I don't know. I don't know if the judge is going to lean toward her due process rights or not, but I think it's rich and I think it's disingenuous to the freaking 5th degree for that damn hooker to talk about bias and having entertainment off of tragedies when she's the one that's caused these tragedies. She knows. She knows that she's not only a serial killer, but she knows that she's going to get her limelight regardless. She knows that everyone's going to know about how she operates when she self-represents herself, which is a crock of shit. Hello, Mr. Gee. You say, what could people do to stop things? I'm not sure what you can do, says sis. Yeah, Shema. The hussy, absolutely. I guess her advisor helped her with this one. And I guess we'll find out one way or the other. But y'all here in about 15, 20 minutes, okay, just going to be watching my Tennessee Vols men's basketball team take on the Missouri basketball team there. And I'm going to go and fix me some snacks and do all that stuff. But I just wanted to get with y'all and kind of update y'all on everything. Unplug if you can. And if you can't, be proactive. Be proactive on what you watch. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. I just wanted to give y'all an update. Leave your comments in the rewatch. Let me know what you think. You know, the bottom line is that, you know, media influence, it's real. It can be damaging. It can hurt people. Or it can actually educate people. It really comes down to, you know, basically, you know, what are you doing? Well, how are you doing it? That's your own business, obviously. I'm not sitting here saying, hey, y'all tell me why you do what you do. No, I'm not. What I'm telling you is it's always important to self-reflect and understand things and to vent out things and to, you know, get a little justice through understanding. Really. Really. So, thank you, Kathy, Mama Bear, all of y'all. We'll get back together soon. You know how I am. And just keep on looking.